A very good morning to my dear students. Once again, welcome back to 8th grade English class. I hope that you are doing well and keeping safe at your homes. Anyway, let us continue with our studies. Today, we are actually planning to move to the 6th unit, the last unit in your content book. So, we can move on with the first section under the 6th unit. If you take page number 131, you can find that the unit is entitled as Social Equality. And without mentioning the meaning, you yourselves know what is the idea conveyed when such a phrase is being used, social equality. You might have heard about it in your social science classes. Whenever we learned the history of many nations, we might have heard about or we might have learned equality. So, equality is actually a state of being equal. In such a state, there will not be any barriers, any cultural barriers, any racial barriers, any economic barriers. No such barriers will be there in a state where there is equality. So, this section is ultimately dealing with the idea of social equality. And when the unit is about to start, there is given a very beautiful quotation given by Kailash Satyarthi. And what is that? Please read it. Today, it is time for every child to have a right to life, right to freedom, right to health, right to education, right to safety, right to dignity, right to equality, and right to peace. So, when a child enjoys the right to life, right to freedom, right to health, right to education, right to safety, right to dignity, right to equality, and right to peace, he or she said to be in equality. And after that, there is actually a warm-up activity is given. So, there is actually given a small incident from the life of Mahatma Gandhi. You have to go through it and you have to get the idea conveyed there in that paragraph. And when you turn over the page and if you look at page number 132, you can find that there are three statements are given there or three questions are given there that should be discussed in between you. Since we are actually following online classes, it is not possible to discuss in groups, but anyway you can read those questions and you can think by yourself. So, let me to read the first question. Gandhiji was thrown out of the train because at the time in South Africa only white people were permitted to travel first class. Wasn't it a completely unfair rule? So, the passage was all about a small incident from the life of Gandhiji. When he paid or when he went, when he was happened to travel by a train in South Africa, judged by his color, he was thrown out of the first class compartment, and the authority suggested him to travel by second class or something like that. It was only based on analyzing his color. So, there was actually a time when people were ruled and people were treated by their colors. So, such was actually the situation of our society years back. In such a society, how could we say that every people are equal? In such a society, whether this phrase has any significance? Tell me. No, the phrase equality has no significance in such a society. So, being a citizen in any nation, we should need some basic rights. That is what our Constitution of India is ensuring, varying rights to its citizens. And look at the next question, discrimination. The word is given, the word is highlighted here, discrimination. Discrimination is a practice of treating somebody or a particular group in society less fairly than others. See, if you are giving prominence to a particular group of people and if you are not giving any attention to another group, we can't say that there is equality. It is purely a discrimination. And what kind of a discrimination did Gandhiji experience on the train? Yeah, it was definitely a racial discrimination. A discrimination which was on the basis of color. How did Gandhiji react when the official threatened to have him evicted from the train? What does this tell us about his character? So, if you analyze the history of our society years back, all over the world there existed a racial discrimination. In the case of India and in the case of Kerala, it was almost like that. There was actually a time when we were ruled by caste and race and even color. So, as a result, if you traced back to Kerala history, we could easily find that there were so many satyagrahas like Vaikam Satyagraha and something like that. So, it was all because of the certain discriminations we were undergoing in those times. And if you look at the case of South Africa or Africa or the third world countries, we could easily find that everywhere there was discrimination. So, now this first section is dealing with a kind of an attitude or something that actually really throws light on such an attitude. Okay. Anyway, let us move on with the story in order to know what is actually the thing conveyed in the first section. So, before getting started with this section, let us have a look into these unfamiliar words and their meanings used in the chapter. Okay, the first one is tram car. A tram car is actually a street car or a rail vehicle for carrying loads in a mine. Okay, then the word flank. Flank means to place to the side of. Then sturdy. Sturdy means a firm build or strong. Then coarse. Here means thick. Then coal black, a black color like that of a coal or charcoal. Here it is used to speak about extremity of the color of the Jamaican boy. Then hazel. Hazel here means of a greenish brown color. Then muddy, as you know, it is actually covered with mud or wet soil. Then puzzled. Puzzled means, as I said, difficult to understand or make sense of. Okay. Jamaican fragment. So, like the section is titled as Jamaican fragment. What do you mean by Jamaican fragment? Fragment means, yeah, it's only one incident. Not the meaning is not one incident. Jamaican fragment means, yeah, it is all about a particular experience, like Jamaican diary or something like that. So, in such a meaning it is conveyed, it is used here, Jamaican fragment, and it is written by A.L. Hendricks. A.L. Hendricks is actually a Jamaican poet. Okay. Now, let us go with the chapter to know what is actually the idea conveyed in the chapter. Now, we are going with the preface passage. I am going to read the preface passage. Please do listen and to read along with me. Aren't we all born equal? Can the color of our skin decide how we must be treated by others? Is one race superior to another? So, before getting started with the story, the author has given here some questions. And these questions are raised or are asked to us. It is our duty to find answers for these questions. Aren't we all born equal? So, the first question has clear denotations with equality or with discrimination. Aren't we all born equal? Do you think we are all born equal? I think nowadays we all are born equal. It is because of the constitution, or it is because of the rights that the constitution is offering us. Can the color of our skin decide how we must be treated by others? Do you think so? See, for example, if you are black, will you be treated anyone in an unfair manner? Do you think so? Is one race superior to another? Did you ever feel that some race is superior to the other? Okay, anyway, let us keep these questions and their answers in your mind. We can have a look at the chapter. Okay. Every day I walk a half mile from my home to the tramcar lines in the morning, and from the lines to my home in the evening. The walk is pleasant. The road on either side is flanked by red and green roofed bungalows, green lawns and gardens. The exercise is good for me, and now and then I learn something from a little incident. So, in the first paragraph, the writer is speaking about a particular incident that actually gave him so much experience. Here in the first paragraph, the writer is saying that he had a habit of going for a walk in the morning and in the evening to the usual paths near his home. And he addressed this walk as pleasant because it served him physically and mentally well. That means, when it was taken in the physical sense, it was good for maintaining a good physique, and every time he was confronted with good and nice sights, it was really a good thing for his mind also. This long walk, or this morning and evening walks would definitely help him to be kept aloof from his day-to-day life problems or daily problems. So, in that way, it was actually really a good thing for him physically and mentally. So, now let us move to the next paragraph. One morning, about halfway between my front gate and the tram track, I noticed two little boys playing in the garden of one of more modest cottages. They were both very little boys. One was 4-year-old, perhaps the other 5. The bigger of the two was a steady youngster, very dark, with a mat of coarse hair on his head and coal black eyes. He was definitely a little Jamaican, a strong little Jamaican. The other little fellow was smaller but also sturdy. He was white with hazel eyes and brown hair. Both were dressed in blue shirts and khaki shorts. They wore no shoes and their feet were muddy. They were not conscious of my standing there watching them. They played on. The game, if it could be called a game, was not elaborate. The little white boy strode imperiously up and down and every now and then shouted imperiously at his bigger playmate. The little brown boy shuffled along quietly behind him and did what he was told. So one day he watched two boys who were playing together in the garden of one of the more modest cottages. And saying more about these boys, one was 1 year older than the other, and the older one was really a Jamaican one, and the younger one was actually a white one. And the author came to this conclusion by looking at their color. The elder one was looking as if the elder one was black in color or little brownish in color. So that is what he looked as if he was a Jamaican. But the younger one was very fine, very fair, very good looking and white in color. So he came to the conclusion that the younger one was white in origin. Anyway, they were actually playing together and they did not even notice the presence of the writer, because that much they were immersed in their game, or they were fully involved in their play. So it is because of that they did not even notice the presence of whom? They did not even notice the presence of the writer. Okay. Yes. The game, if it could be called a game, was not elaborate. And what about the physical appearance of these people? Yeah. The bigger of the two was a sturdy youngster. Okay. Then very dark, with a mat of coarse hair on his head and coal black eyes. So from his physical appearances, one could easily come to the conclusion that he was clearly no doubt hailing from as African background or from Jamaica. He was definitely a little Jamaican. That is what he came to such a conclusion, a strong little Jamaican. The other little fellow was smaller but also sturdy. He was white with hazel eyes and brown hair. So he was in white color. So he came to the conclusion that he was a white man, white child. Okay. So the game, if it could be called a game, was not elaborate. What do you mean by elaborate? The meaning is given there. Complicated, very complicated. If it could be called a game, it was not that much complicated. It was a simple game played by them. The little white boy strode imperiously. What do you mean imperiously? In a way that suggests that you are treating people as if they are not as important as you. So the little white boy strode imperiously. When the writer had a look at them, he found that the little white boy was treating the other one, that means the elder one, that means the little Jamaican, in a way as if he was not at all as important as him. That means treating in an unfair manner, treating in a way that was never be accepted. And every now and then shouted imperiously at his bigger playmate. So the white man, or not white man, the white child was every time commanding the Jamaican one. The little brown boy shuffled along quietly behind him and did what he was told. And the elder one, that means the Jamaican one, was without any complaint was obeying what the white boy commanded. So, this was actually the sight, this was actually the thing the writer took notice while he was looking at them. Okay, now let us continue with the next part. Pick up that stick. The dark boy picked it up. Jump into the flowers. The dark boy jumped. Get me some water. The dark boy ran inside. The white boy sat down on the lawn. Lawn means, yeah, as is given, as is seen in the picture, the green patch. I was amazed. Here before my eyes, a white baby, for they were little more than babies, was imposing his will upon a little black boy. So, every time while the writer was actually looking at these two children, white child was every time commanding over the Jamaican one, and the Jamaican one was doing whatever things he commanded. First of all, he commanded, pick up that stick. Then the Jamaican boy admitted it and obeyed it. Then the white boy said that jump into the flowers. He did so. Then again the white boy said that get me some water. Then the dark boy, the Jamaican boy, ran inside and back with some water. So, in that way, while he was looking at the boys or children, yeah, this was actually happening there. And the little black boy submitted. I puzzled within myself. What do you mean by puzzled? Yeah, puzzled means difficult to understand or makes no sense of. So, I puzzled within myself as I went down the road. So, it was very difficult for the writer to understand what it was. Could it be that the little dark boy was the son of a servant in the house and therefore had to do the white boy's bidding? So, suddenly a pair of questions overruled in whose mind? Overruled in the writer's mind. The writer suddenly gave his own clarifications for the question that was really originated in his mind. He suddenly soon came to the conclusion that maybe it was actually the son of the servant. That is what actually the white boy was taking power on him. What do you mean by bidding? Bidding means what somebody orders you to do. Okay. So, in that way, it might be because of the reason that the black boy, the Jamaican boy, was actually really the son of the servant. That might be the reason behind his obedience to the white boy's order. No, they were obviously dressed alike. A little dark boy was of equal class with his playmate. But that argument was not reasonable. Why? Because both of them were dressed in the same manner. If the Jamaican one was actually the son of a servant, it was not possible anyway. It was not possible anyway, because both of them wore the same dress. No, they were playmates. The little dark boy was a neighbor's child. I was sure that. Then how was it that he obeyed so faithfully the white boy's orders? Then he came to the conclusion that no, it was not like that. Maybe he was actually, they were actually playmates, and the Jamaican boy was actually a neighbor's child. Okay, in that way he came to such a conclusion. Then again another question overruled in his mind. How was it that he obeyed so faithfully the white boy's orders? Then how, if he was actually the son of a neighbor, then how was it possible that he obeyed so faithfully or so honestly to the orders given by the white boy? Was it that even? Okay, now we can move on to the next paragraph. Please listen and read along with me. Was it that even at this early age he sensed that in his own country he would be at the white man's beck and call? Could he, in such youth, divine a difference between himself and the white boy? And did the little white youngster, so young, such a baby, realize that he would grow to dominate the black man? Was there an indefinable quality in the white man that enabled this baby, smaller and younger than his playmate, to make him his slave? I could find no answer. I could not bring myself to believe such a thing, and yet with my own eyes I had seen a little dark boy take orders from a little white boy obviously his social equal and younger and smaller. Were we as a race really inferior? So inferior that even in our infancy we realized our deficiencies and accepted a position as the white man's servant. Now let us go to the detailed discussion of the paragraph. Was it that even at this early age he sensed that in his own country he would be at the white man's beck and call? Now again the writer thought another thing. Then the writer came to the conclusion that it might be because of the fact that in this very early childhood days itself, the Jamaican boy realized that people belonging to his race would be at the foot of the white people, because that means always ready to obey white man's orders. So it might be because of the realization of the Jamaican boy even in his early childhood that they were actually at the foot of whom? At the foot of the white people. It might be because of that. Could he in such youth divine a difference between himself and the white boy? Then would he be able to find a difference between himself and the white boy, or would he be able to sense a class difference between the white and the black at these early years of his childhood? And did the little white youngster, so young, such a baby, realize that he would grow to dominate the black man? Then again he thought another thing. Till then he was actually thinking about the Jamaican boy's thought. Now he just went to the mind of the white boy. And did the little white youngster, so young, such a baby, realize that he would grow to dominate the black man? See, if the little white boy at his early years, would he realize that he had the power to dominate black people, or he was superior, he was racially superior to that of the white, to that of the black man? Was there an indefinable quality in the white man that enabled this baby, smaller and younger than his playmate, to make him his slave? If so, was there an indefinable quality in the white man that enabled this baby, smaller and younger than his playmate, to make him his slave? Then again he thought like this. Was there an indefinable quality? What do you mean by indefinable quality? If things were like that, there was really an indefinable quality in the white people to make this white boy at his early childhood to think like this. To think like what? To think that white people are superior to any other race, or to make his Jamaican friend as his slave. Out of the grooming that he got from his early childhood, that white people are superior to any other race. I could find no answer. So the writer could not find an answer to these questions. I could not bring myself to believe such a thing, and yet with my own eyes I had seen a little dark boy take orders from a little white boy, a little white boy obviously his social equal and younger and smaller. So what the writer mentioned here is that he could not find an answer, and at the same time he could not bring himself to believe such a thing. What is the thing mentioned here? Yeah, a Jamaican boy was really obeying his white playmate who was really younger than him, and a white boy was actually ordering something to his elder Jamaican playmate. Okay, where we as a race really inferior, then here you have to note one thing, that the writer himself belonged to Jamaica. So now he made a completely personal comment. Yeah, he asked to himself that where we means the society where he was also a part of, where we was a race really inferior. Then he thought like that, were they inferior? So inferior that even in our infancy we realized our deficiencies and accepted a position as a white man's servant. So that is actually the psychology. He mentioned here that from the childhood itself they realized that they were inferior and they had some deficiencies. That means they had some faults, they had some weaknesses, and so in that way from their childhood itself they realized that they were actually inferior to the white people. So this was actually the result of the grooming they had while they were in their childhood, eventually from their parents or eventually from their forefathers. So such kind of a grooming they actually got even from their early childhood. So that is what here it is said, that so inferior that even in our infancy, right from their infancy period itself, they realized their deficiencies and accepted that their position as the white man's servant. So from that time onwards they realized and they adjusted with it, and they accepted that they were actually the white man's servant. So this was actually happened. Okay, so this is all about, so I think this is the time to wind up. Anyway, the rest of the portion will be continued in the next class. I hope that you understood everything which we discussed today. Anyway, thank you and have a nice day.